Is it time to cut our losses and exit this cycle? Today, I'm going to give you my full analysis of the market. After this recent crash, things have changed with the market structure for Bitcoin, which is going to impact every altcoin. So we need to discuss that. I'm also going to tell you how likely I think it is that Bitcoin already bombed at 48k. And finally, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing during this dip, and also how I'm going to be playing this bounce. For example, am I going to be taking some profits off and waiting for lower to buy cheaper? I'm going to tell you everything, so be sure to watch to the end. Firstly, I'm going to take you through my bomb signal checklist, which is what I used to know when to buy the dip. The goal of going through this checklist is to determine how likely it was that 48k was the bottom, and you don't need to stress about your portfolio anymore because the worst is over. The number one thing at the head of the list is capitulation into powerful high time frame support. So let's take a look at what we've had so far. We had capitulation in Bitcoin directly into 48k. Now the crazy thing is, before this crash, I literally dreamed of this happening, that Bitcoin would go to 48k. And I believe the reason for that was because I was reviewing the charts, and two powerful support zones I remember from last cycle were 48k and also 40k. 48k was the final lower high of last cycle before the real bear market kicked in and Luna crashed. So it's really powerful and obvious support. And it's obvious that we had capitulation into this level because of the amount of liquidations there were. It reminds me of the August 2023 bomb. We had traders taking significant losses, and we had the worst weekly candle close since FTX. Now what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to balance out all the positives that indicate that the bottom is in and we can start to expect good things, and also balance out all the negatives and things that call for concern. But to make it really clear, this condition to mark a bottom was met with flying colours. We had historic levels of destruction into one of the most powerful supports of this cycle. The next most powerful support for Bitcoin is 40k. That's like the line in the sand for this bull run, because when that 40k level broke in 2021, it caused a huge crash, and also because it was retested as major support during the second phase of the 2021 bull run. This would be, in my mind, the lowest BTC can realistically go without being totally wrecked. And that aligns also with when the Bitcoin ETF actually launched. I think the probability of getting here is really low, so don't panic. In that case, I'd say 48k should be a great place to mark the bottom, but of course, it's all probabilities. And the reason I say there's a good chance it bottomed at 48k is because, as I said, this is a really powerful support level, and because of the amount of capitulation that went into this zone. But of course, we have to contend with the possibility that it does a proper retest in the future, not just a wick like this. The second thing on my bomb signal checklist is FUD and news that causes people to panic and be scared. The most obvious one during the dip was, of course, the US stock market's opening and a potential huge crash coming from there. And I knew 100%, I was even saying in the Discord, I was active all day in the Discord making sure people didn't panic sell. People were saying things like, I'm not buying until the US market's open. There was even some big YouTubers and even some TikTok influencers who were selling because they were scared of these opens.
Bitcoin's recession-fueled slide continues, and I think it's going to deepen. As a result, I'm actually mostly stablecoins. I pulled out almost all my altcoins. My Bitcoin's still there. My Jupiter is still staking. It takes a month to unstake, so my Jupiter is still staking. Otherwise, everything is in stable.
And I just knew that if everyone was scared of those opens, that means they're either not buying or panic selling. And I knew that represented an opportunity, and I'll tell you what I did towards the end of the video. And this is a skill that's really useful in the markets. Look at the headlines, look at how people are reacting to it. If enough people believe that it's going to go lower based on a headline, then that means you can win most of the time by just doing the opposite of what they do. I believe with the severity of the headlines that we had with recessions, with the stock market nuking, it's one thing when people's crypto portfolio nukes, but it's another thing when they watch their stock market portfolio crash as well, because that will cause some real fear. So in terms of things we can realistically expect for cycle-defining bomb signals, that could have been it, because it was definitely a lot scarier than a lot of these other ones. So for me, that's another indication that we've likely already seen the bottom at 48k. But let's keep going with the checklist because this next one matters a lot. The third thing on my checklist is market context. How have the crowd been conditioned to think over time? I would say since April, which has been 4 months, the market has really been conditioning people to think negatively about prices and about altcoins as well. And I think you can feel it in the market with how Bitcoin has been trading. People are just really fatigued with crypto, are just starting to get tired of it in general. Now, that's what I said would happen back in March, but for us, this is actually a really good thing, because the longer this sort of washing out process goes on, the more upside potential that we have. So that's something that you need to keep in the back of your mind. All of this happening is playing to your advantage, because it means your potential to make money is increasing every day. Basically, what's going to happen is this sort of messing around in this zone, scaring people, will probably continue and test people. And then when the market actually does start going up, people are going to disbelieve in the rally and short it on the way up. That's exactly what happened over here in 2023. The fourth component of my checklist, and a really key one, is seeing how people are changing their portfolios in response to price action. I saw this happen in the Discord, and perhaps you even had thoughts yourself during the dip of maybe I should sell my altcoins into Bitcoin or USDT. Going risk off when prices are crashing is a typical human response and a newbie error. And it's actually something that marks the bottom. People just can't take the pain anymore. And that's why you see Bitcoin dominance and USDT dominance spike so much. And you already know what it means when people are panic selling into safety. It means that prices in the things that they're panic selling is really cheap. And that's why I made an alert in premium to deploy the rest of my stables into Sol at 116. And at that point, I was basically all in when people were really panicking. But there are some concerns that I want to share with you. Whilst we have strong support below, there's no denying that Bitcoin is downtrending now, at least on the daily. We've lost the daily 200 EMA, and it's not ideal when we keep losing it because it's a sign of weakness. We've already lost it once over here. So if I was to sum up the situation right now, here's how I do it. We've got a lot of positives in the market. We've had a huge wipeout. Most people have not made money yet in this cycle, which means there's a lot of upside potential left. When most people have made a lot of money, that's usually what marks cycle tops. 4 months of negative programming, which means there's a lot of potential being built up. And more importantly, the market has to price a 50% chance of Bitcoin becoming a US strategic reserve. And that's if Donald Trump wins. I think what happens is we continue to chop around these levels for quite some time. We can get close to 48k again, scare people, make them believe 40k, 35k is coming, and then over time we can recover. Because remember, as I said in this video, that this is still the accumulation phase for altcoins as per the 4-year cycle. I think now that we've had a major crash, the remaining bullish sentiment can be wiped out by just doing nothing for a really long time, aka some more time-based capitulation like we had in 2023. I think retests to 58 to 60k is a decent spot to de-risk if you're overexposed. Just so psychologically, if we do go to 48k again, you can handle it. Because let me tell you something, a lot of people didn't actually look at their portfolio balances during this collapse because of how fast it went. But it becomes scary when price starts to slowly approach this level again. And then the doubts of 40k and 35k really creep in. Now, before I end this video, I'm going to tell you something really important that you need to do with your portfolio during this time period. But first, let me share what moves I made during this dip and what I'm most bullish on at the moment. So I made 3 key decisions during the big crash. The first one was to swap my tier into Trump at around 3.6. If I think objectively, it's as simple as which one's going to hit $20 first. The one that has big unlocks coming up, or the one that has a huge narrative that's going to be having the most attention on it. So for me, it was a logical, ruthless trade decision that I took. And I told people in the tier channel in the Discord live as I did it. The second decision I made was to use up most of my stables to buy Sol at 116. And the way I knew to go all in at this time was just by what I've shared in this video, which was the bomb signal checklist. The third decision was to start the 20k portfolio video series. I bought 10k worth of Trump at 2.75. And at the moment, it looks like it's retested the underside of the previous range bottom. And it's going to be going to the bottom of the range, which is going to be an excellent place for me to add the other 10k in. My aim with this portfolio is to turn this 20k into 200k by just buying the best coins in key narratives. And of course, I'm going to make a full video series dedicated just to the 20k portfolio. So subscribe now if you want to see what coins I end up buying for that. Previous to the market crash, my portfolio was quite risk averse, with the majority of it being in Casper, Sol, ETH and USDT. If you remember, I made that video in June where I said I'd be consolidating a lot of my altcoins into Ethereum, and people were saying I'm emotional, etc. Jump nuked $400 million worth of ETH, but the thing is, with ETH, we know the prices will recover sooner or later. But this now leads me on to the most crucial warning part for this video. ETH will recover, but a lot of the coins that people think are good right now, because they were good during the last few months of the bull market, can severely underperform ETH going forward. And that's what happens every time the market crashes. It resets the narrative and new coins flourish for the next leg. Your focus right now should be to make sure you are not in any altcoins that can underperform ETH going forward. Because right now, ETH has the potential for a 4x. So why would you want to take risk in an altcoin that does not even give a 4x? And if you don't think it's possible that even good altcoins can severely underperform ETH, take a look at Link during the last bull market versus Ethereum. It got destroyed, and that's a coin that people thought was really good. I remember this cycle is weird. There's a lot more competition between the coins, which makes it even harder to pick the right ones. So please don't ignore what I've just said. It's really important. I have friends who've basically missed the entire bull market because they held 2023 coins. So their portfolio value is lower today than it was during the start of the bull market. This isn't going to make me popular, but the truth is a lot of altcoins of the past few months have already topped this cycle versus ETH. If you think I should make a video on what popular coins I think have topped, then please leave a comment and let me know. If you have altcoins you're not bullish on anymore in your portfolio, look at that position as USDT and think of the potential other coins have as opposed to the one that you're holding. I knew from a long time ago that this was going to be the time to be rebuilding a new portfolio. I started that process with 2 coins, one of them being Trump. I'm really bullish on this coin, and I'll release a video update on the 20k portfolio for you soon. But if you want to see what other coins I accumulate in my portfolio for the next leg of the bull market, be sure to try out my premium service. This is one of the pivotal moments of the cycle, so join for 1 month, see what I accumulate. If you like the service, stay. If not, you can cancel it. But these next couple of months are really important. So I'll leave the link to the WAP in the pinned comments. I have to increase the prices soon, so if you want to join, lock in this price before it does increase. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you with another video in just a couple of days.